Enjoy the video. Have a good day.
What is the strangest thing that has happened to you in a McDonald's?
That's easy. I went to a McDonald's and I saw a homeless man pooping all over the floor, so I picked it up and I ate.
Surely everyone will tell you that they found a bug in their food or that they saw a fight.
Who is
But what I
everyone?
experienced-
Who is everyone? Who's telling you? You ask anyone, they're not gonna say, I found a cockroach in my McDonald's. Nobody's saying that. Surely everyone. No, nigga, maybe a fight. Maybe a fight.
was much worse. This happened to me while I was cleaning
This
the
nigga
McDonald's
is
parking
ugly,
lot.
bro.
It was a normal day.
So am I,
As
though.
usual, the only thing on my mind was thinking about going home as soon as possible.
I feel that.
While I was lost in thought, I began to hear footsteps approaching me. It didn't sound like the footsteps of a customer.
But how
or a
old are
friend
you?
leaving with their food. They were the halting,
Is you
furtive
butt
footsteps
naked?
of someone stalking me. Those footsteps were coming from behind me, and they stopped the moment I turned around.
Yo.
I could vaguely make out someone hiding in the shadows. Did they want to rob me?
No.
Who's there?
They want your
I
butt.
plucked up my courage, grabbed the cleaning supplies, and decided to run to the front door.
I'm not grabbing nothing. You talking about grab this cleaning supplies. I see a butt, booty cheek, naked, bare bottom grown man walking behind me. My first instinct isn't, let me pick up the Windex. No.
Suddenly, a silhouette interrupted me and stood in my way. It was
Stood in my way. First thing I'm doing, I'm grabbing two hands on the little thing in his hand, and I'm out the park.
a woman I knew. Her name was Sandra.
Ugh.
She was a well-known girl in the area.
Sandra's a dope
For all
fiend.
the wrong reasons. Sometimes she could be a very sweet girl. And even though we knew she worked the street,
Bro, ew. And they just let me not
she was
judge.
very nice to everyone and never got in trouble. Other times, it was different. She would insult us and could behave very erratically. Some classmates told us stories of times that
Bro,
she
he
had
better
threatened
cock
them
his
or tried
arms
to
back
hit
with
them.
that thing and
But those
swing
were
that
only
mother.
rumors. That day, she was stranger than usual.
She took that
She
hair
was in
on.
underwear.
Okay.
And even though she had known me for months, she tried to sexually proposition me,
Ugh, we don't
which
want
I
that.
refused.
I would
That's when the
too.
chaos started. Furious, she pulled out a knife and pointed it
She
at
said,
me.
you gonna eat this,
Who the
gang.
hell do you think you are to reject me? Do you think you're better than me?
Yes.
Do you think I'm worthless?
Yes.
No, Sandra, I'm working. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you.
You don't see this M on my chest? I'm not a superhero. I am at work. Holla at me when we get back to the crib. Did she
What's
just
wrong?
sober up?
Are you all right?
Where am I? What's going on?
Sandra, you were...
Interrupting me.
Sandra, you were
She
hopped
lunged at
up.
me and threw me
She
to
said,
the
nah,
ground.
never mind.
She raised her knife with her eyes closed and brought it violently down towards my body. But to my surprise, she missed. The knife had embedded itself in the ground by the side of my head, without touching a hair on my head.
If Sandra wanted to
She
get you
raised
out of
her
here,
knife
she
and
would have.
drove it into the floor, again and again. For her last attack, Sandra opened her eyes and tried to stick it into me, but
Pause.
I stopped her, and by squeezing her wrist with enormous force, I managed to get her to let go. When I
That nigga think he's strong as hell, squeezing her wrist with enormous force. He think he OG who caught the basketball talking about something. You okay, ladies? Like, bro, if you don't get your one.
saw her face a second later, I realized that I hadn't outmatched her strength. She had simply zoned out. She had a blank stare and drool was dripping from her mouth. It
That's
looked
the
as if
heroin.
she had rebooted. From one second to the next, her eyes seemed to zone in and out of focus. When they returned to normal, she acted like
She
I wasn't
outta-
even there and then she ran into the McDonald's. Without wasting any time,
I'm going home.
I stood up and followed her at full
Oh
speed.
my goodness.
Hey, how are you?
Ew.
Sandra, you can't come in like that. Put on a shirt.
What did
A
you
shirt.
just say?
Oh no, be
A
careful.
shirt, no pants.
Before my coworker
Alright.
Greg could react, Sandra desperately ran at him and tried to hit him, but he dodged her and fell to the floor. Before he could get up,
Did he knock him?
Sandra displayed brutal force and lifted the huge cash register to throw it at his prone figure. Her eyes were red and she was foaming
Sandra
at the
need
mouth.
help.
It was terrifying. She was behaving as if she had turned into a monster. I
As
ran
if.
towards her and
Damn.
managed to push her away just as she threw the cash register, which smashed to the floor, narrowly missing Greg.
Oh, I thought they
Even
grew.
more frustrated with not being able to kill him, she started banging on all the tables with a terrifying war cry. The few customers that were still left at this time of
They
night
couldn't have
began to
jumped her
run
to...
as she
Wait a
lifted up
second.
The few customers that were still left at this time
Oh, okay. I thought he had something around his mouth.
of night began to run as she lifted up the chairs and threw them against the glass.
They literally all
It
could have
worked out
jumped her.
because there were
Like,
no more people in danger of the projectiles. We were now alone with her.
Sandra, calm down.
Please, help me.
no.
Of course, we all want to help you. Calm down.
I do
Let
not want
go
to help
of
you,
that
Sandra.
needle. Needle? What do you mean?
In answer to my question, my
There.
coworker saw Sandra's hand and, although it was very small, I could see a needle left in her hand.
Oh no.
Why do you want to help me?
See?
Nobody can
Told
help
you.
me.
That's the heroin.
I don't need your help.
Watch out! Her face changed again!
With the needle in hand, Sandra rushed at me again.
I'm not Corey Kenshin, but Sandra would have caught some buckshots that day. That or something else.
And then ever, she attacked me with the syringe and
Where
I
your
managed
man's
to lock
at?
her hand. We both struggled to force the needle the other
Where's
way.
his man's
Derek,
at?
help me!
Like, I'm
sorry.
saying.
Security should take care of this.
Are you-
I'll go call them.
Is he
no,
serious?
Come help me! You coward!
That nigga dipped on him. Hold on.
I'll go call them.
That
No,
nigga's
come
ass.
help me!
No.
You coward!
Add it
But I
up.
was distracted. The woman kicked me in the stomach and I fell
Oh
backward.
my, that's not the
She
stomach.
was about to pounce on me again, and this time I couldn't do anything to stop
Tell
her.
me your boy
But to
changed
my
his mind
luck,
and became a
the
superhero.
strangest thing
She's
happened.
Momo.
As if someone had flipped a switch, Sandra decided not to attack me anymore, and instead ran over to the ice cream machine to feed herself.
She know it's broke. She finna get mad again.
Ice cream.
I ran in her direction and
Oh, it's
managed to
working.
get the syringe off her. She didn't even put up any resistance. She just kept devouring ice cream. A few seconds later, Greg and the security
I would've
guard showed
socked,
up and
bro.
detained her until the police arrived a little while later and took her away. Soon after, we found out that Sandra hadn't been under the influence of any drugs.
Huh?
Although she told everyone
Okay,
that she
bud.
struggled with multiple personality disorder, she had absolutely no memory of what had happened to her. And when she saw the security video, she cried uncontrollably. Today she is off of the streets and is receiving help in a recovery center. As for my coworker and the
I would
security
have
guard,
folded him.
they were kicked out shortly after. The cameras captured how Greg almost left me to die.
That's what I'm
and the
saying,
security
bro.
guard
I
had
would
been
have hit
seated in
him
an
so
office throughout
hard.
the ordeal.
Soon as I
As
got
for
that
me,
syringe, I would
I
have
still work
poked
at
him with it.
McDonald's, but never again will I agree to work the night shift.
I'm saying?
These are the actual
Oh,
mugshots of
oh.
Sandra Suarez, who entered a McDonald's on approximately March 24th.
Yo, she actually looked like the
2014,
character they
wearing
made.
only
Let's take a minute to talk about his friend. I know I've already said it, but he would have had to see me.
I had been working night shifts at a McDonald's restaurant with my best friend Rachel for about 3 months. We needed the extra cash for rent and also for school stuff.
Word.
In that short period, I had unfortunately
Oh.
attended to a
Oh.
lot of creepy and weird individuals.
Nigga, them are
but
zombies.
nothing could have prepared me for what happened that very night. It felt like another slow night. It was almost 9:30 p.m. and we had barely gotten any customers.
And you're
Rachel and I
complaining?
were thinking of closing early because she had a date and I didn't mind catching some extra hours of sleep. Suddenly, the doors swung open. A mysterious
Bro, are they serving the undead? What's up with these niggas, bro? They all look deceased. I mean, it fit. McDonald's food fake as hell anyway, so they might as well be dead people food.
looking man walked in.
I
He
still
was
eat
wearing
it,
a
so it
top
don't
hat
matter.
and sunglasses. I mean, who wears shades at night? He also had a dreary-looking trench coat on. It was a bit unsettling and just out of style.
That nigga shoots
He slowly
long.
glanced around the room for a few seconds before walking to a table. Rachel
nigga, this
had
is
an
not one of them
abrupt bathroom
restaurants.
emergency, so it meant I had to go take his order. I took a deep breath, grabbed the order menu, and wore a fake smile. After I was ready, I walked to his
Nigga,
table.
iPhone, though.
He was on
He
his
valid.
phone.
Good evening, sir. Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please?
What
I
McDonald's does
said.
this?
It was almost like he didn't hear me, but after a few
That nigga
seconds,
bougie.
he spoke. I'll have 2 large burgers, extra fries, and a Diet Coke. His voice was deep, and I'm pretty sure there was a bit of a southern accent in there. While writing the order, I could feel the heat of his gaze on me. He had taken off his sunshades. It was
put 'em
common
back
for
on.
men to stare and probably
I ain't gonna
ask
lie.
for your number later, but when I lifted my head, I realized he wasn't staring at my face or anywhere else. He was staring at my hands. There was a creepy look in his eyes and an almost demented smile.
I would have hit him right between the eyes. He want to look at my fingers. He gonna get a closer look. Cause when these 2 boys poke you in your eyes, it's about to be over with.
On his face, he looked mesmerized. I knew there was nothing special about my hands. I didn't even have nail polish on.
You don't have nail polish on, so your fingers just normally discolored.
I cleared my throat audibly.
Will that be all, sir?
I asked. Not at all, he briskly responded.
Not at all.
I say you have very beautiful hands. Do you
Word.
mind if I touch them?
No.
He asked.
I mean, yes.
I would have never touched him with a 10-foot pole, but then I thought maybe he was some hand modeling agent. Plus, I
Yeah.
was also hoping not to make things weird so I could get a good tip.
Okay.
A tip? What
I stretched my
McDonald's do they
hands
work
out.
at?
He took off his leather hand glove, reached for my
Ugh.
hand, and began to caress it softly.
Ugh.
His hands felt rough and edgy,
I
like he'd
bet.
been plowing a farm all day. Things quickly became awkward and almost sexual.
You would have.
I retracted my hands and feigned
so
a
quick.
stifled chuckle.
Okay, sir. I should go get your order now.
Our
I
teeth
quickly walked
crazy.
away. It was a very nerve-wracking experience, and it probably was the first red flag. Luckily for me, after I was done with the order, Rachel was back from her emergency.
Who's cooking?
I asked her to help me take it to the table,
If
but
it's-
I didn't mention anything else to
If it's just these 2 here, and they're both working the counter, now who's cooking? I'm asking the real questions here.
her. She casually walked to the
She
table
set her
and
friend
delivered
up
the
doing
order.
that.
They exchanged a few words, and then she walked back.
What did he say?
I abruptly
Yeah,
asked.
Oh, nothing. I think he was trying to hit on me. He asked what time we were getting off, and he gave off some pretty cringy vibes. Definitely not my type.
Rachel
Wow,
responded.
yeah.
Then
He's only
walked
60
back
years
into the
old.
kitchen. I pondered on her words a bit, then ultimately just concluded I was
Why is there
overthinking it.
eat?
Big mistake.
Never mind.
A few minutes later, he just stood up and left. He had barely even touched his meal, and
honey.
he paid in full and left a huge tip on the table. Rachel and I decided it was also time to close
he
up.
got money.
It was about 10:15 p.m.
I might let him rub my hands
We
down
packed
for a
it
little
in.
honey.
Turned off the lights. It was already dark out, but our apartment was like 3 blocks away. I waited with her till her boyfriend came to pick her up. We said our goodbyes, and then they drove off.
He would have had to take
They
me
were
home,
going in the
too,
opposite
after that.
direction,
I ain't
so
gonna
I
lie.
didn't ask for a lift.
Oh, never mind.
I began my short
I still would
stride
ask for a
home.
ride.
The walkway was pretty lonely. Aside from the few street lights that weren't flickering on and off, it would have been pitch black darkness. I would usually walk home with Rachel, but on nights like that, I had to fly solo. After a while, I
Don't they live together? So, oh, she went to her boyfriend. Oh, they went. You feel what I'm putting down? She went on a date, so it's the opposite. Let me shut up.
began to hear stumping footsteps behind me. I looked over my shoulder. The person was shrouded in darkness, and he was too far behind. I continued walking.
I would have ran at him.
Seconds later, I noticed
lying.
that his pace had hastened. He was gaining on me. My heart began to race.
I don't know.
My first thought was that he was probably a mugger. With jittery hands, I slipped out pepper spray from my bag and concealed it. I never leave
that
home
thing on
without
her.
it. I could feel he was right behind me. My heart was about to leap out of my mouth.
I'm turning around. I'm
In a
spraying that
moment of
motherfucker.
courage, I swung around so I could spray him. But to my shock, there was nobody there.
I
I
wouldn't have
felt
turned
my
around to
mind
look at
was
nothing.
just
I would've
playing
just
tricks on me
sprayed.
again. I cut a sigh of relief and tucked in my pepper spray.
I'm keeping it by my
But as I
side
was
the
about
rest
to
of the
turn
walk
around,
home.
a
Oh,
large man pounced on me and pushed me to the ground. It happened so quickly. It was the same man from the restaurant.
what are he doing?
He pinned my left hand to the ground with one hand while I struggled, and then he pulled out a knife from his trench
Oh.
coat. I was scared to death. It looked like he wanted to cut off my hand, but before he could go through with it, I managed to slip out my pepper spray.
Wasn't that in her...
I fired straight into his eyes. While he
That
was
looked like
wiping his
fart
eyes
spray.
vigorously, I drove my knee into his gonads hard, and he fell off me. I scrambled to my
Right in the
feet
gonads.
and frantically sprinted home while screaming at the top of my voice. I bolted my doors and immediately dialed 911. The entire ordeal had me shaken up for days. It took the police about 2 weeks to find the man. They traced him to his suburban home where he lived alone, but that wasn't all.
That nigga
Upon
truck
forced
wrong.
entry, the police uncovered a
Pause.
concealed
Whoa.
basement, and within the basement, they found disturbing and gut-wrenching sight of severed hands hanging all over the walls. The man was put on death row.
Where did he put his victims? He just cut off their hands, and did he kill them, or did they just go back to their normal life? Homie asked, "Hey, bro, what happened to your hand?" You know. Like, bro, I don't know. Where's your hand at?
The police are still trying to find the owners of the severed hands, if they're still alive, that is. I'm just glad mine didn't end up on some sick freak's wall as a trophy.
Taxidermied. All right, this is the last story.
When I first took the job of a manager at McDonald's, the owner walked me through a few rules that I'd have to follow to keep the place running. Look, Nathan, no matter what Joe says,
What is
don't
this
ever let him
fit?
be Ronald McDonald. Sorry, what? I know it sounds weird, but trust me on this one.
Trust me, bro.
Joe is the cleaning guy
Damn,
who works
big
for
nigga wanna be
McDonald's,
McDonald's?
and
I
he
mean,
seemed
man, that-
sweet, irrespective of how he looked. I've always believed in not judging a book by its cover, so when the owner mentioned that, I got confused. But what's wrong with Joe?
He
No
big
one
as
can
hell.
answer that.
That's what's
he
wrong.
just has
Wait,
this
no.
crazy fandom for Ronald McDonald. For months, he's been pestering me to allow him to dress up as Ronald and let him entertain our guests, but that can't happen.
Why not?
Never, ever. I hope that's clear to you.
I want to know why.
I guess so. Good. You can go back to work now. Best of luck. I didn't want to ask him more about the matter, as it was my first day and
I
I
would've
still
asked him
needed
more.
the job.
Whatever.
So I just decided to
I need
follow
to know
what he
what I'm
said.
getting into.
The next day, the moment I stepped into work, I was face to face with Joe.
He looked
Holding a
cool.
broom
Never
and
mind.
wearing an ear-to-ear smile on his face, Joe asked,
He's
What time will you
stroking
be
that thing a
free?
little bit.
I need to talk to you.
You make me
about
uncomfortable.
work.
Let's
You don't
see,
need to talk
Joe.
to me about
It's my
nothing,
first
Joe.
day and a lot is expected of me. Maybe when we both get done, I'll hear
That
you
boy
out.
neck long.
Okay. I'll
Damn,
finish with
Joe
my
big
work
as
well.
hell.
The
Twitching.
day started well and customers kept coming, but when the clock struck 7, I heard a kid scream coming from the tables. I rushed over and saw the kid crying and his mother yelling at one of our waitresses.
I'll sue you guys for this.
For what?
How irresponsible are you? Leaving
Finger
a
in the mail
nail
or
on a
something?
child's
A
food?
nail.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm the manager here.
Ain't nothing but a little
Please tell me what the
protein.
issue is. The woman showed me a big nail and said that she found it in her kid's burger.
There's no
We compensated them with
pickles.
free meals and gave them enough coupons for them to eat for a month at McDonald's. The owner was out of town and I wanted to do my best to stop this news from spreading, so I called out an emergency meeting.
Joe got that.
I asked the
look in his
chefs
eye.
how this could have happened, to which they said they had no idea. No one could make out how a nail had ended up in a burger. We need to do something to keep this news from spreading, guys. If this gets to the owner, all of us can kiss our jobs goodbye.
How
Not
about
all,
I
y'all.
dress up as Ronald and entertain our customers?
No,
I have so
Joe.
many ideas.
Sit down
that'll
and
make
shut
'em
up.
Come here for more. Please, Nathan.
Ugh.
Everyone looked at me like it would be a terrible mistake, but
Solely
judging
off
the
him saying it like
situation,
that, I
made
would've
the
said
call.
no.
Something is better than nothing,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Fine, Joe. You're on it. Do whatever it takes to blow our customers away.
He do not listen.
Oh. You won't regret this.
Joe
I would have
left and
regretted
we
it
all got
already
on
just
with the
by
rest
that.
of our day.
Soon
I could
as he
hardly
ste-
sleep that night, though.
Like a sweat?
I was worried that the owner was going to snap at me once he found out what happened today.
What, that you let
The
Joe be...
next day, when I arrived at work, I didn't see Joe anywhere. I started asking around for him, and then the restaurant door opened, and in walked Joe.
with them size
He
13?
was dressed as
Oh
Ronald
my
McDonald,
gosh.
and I kid you not, nothing about his appearance seemed appealing. The costume was normal, but the makeup was a little over the top.
I would've
It
told
was
bro,
heavily
get out.
caked on, smudged all over his not-so-inviting face, which served to make him a creepier version of Ronald. But he would be giving kids balloons and toys, so no one was going to focus on his looks.
I would have.
Customers started to come
That's
in, and Joe stood at the door greeting them. Everything was going fine until I overheard a conversation between Joe and a 9-year-old girl.
I don't like hide and seek.
That
You
9-year-old.
can play this new game.
Well, she sound about 24.
Fight.
What kind of a game is that?
Fun.
Oh.
You can tickle all over my belly and I will tickle your feet. What do you think?
I think you're going to jail. Now.
I don't want to play that either.
The kid
I
went
would've
back to her
been
table and
out of
I
it so
immediately
quick.
called Joe to my office.
Sandra said you wanted to see me.
You want to tickle
When
her
I
feet,
confronted
Joe?
him, he spoke like what he said to the 9-year-old girl wasn't that big of a deal. Joe, you can't touch
Joe,
the
you
kids
are
or ask them to touch
Grown,
you. We
nigga,
can get
you
in
are
trouble
big
for that.
as hell.
Oh,
Talk about
I just
something.
wanted to make the kid smile. She was being so grumpy from the start.
No tickle fights, okay? Maybe just entertain them without any physical interaction. Is that clear?
Fine. I will try plan
Nigga
B.
finna start spitting on
Joe
people.
left with a sour face, and I began to consider the owner's words. Did I make a mistake saying yes to Joe?
Yes.
I might have rested in the office for 10 minutes when I heard a scream. Ah! Are you
He in
crazy?
nigga's car?
You just gave us a heart attack! This isn't funny! I again rushed outside and saw Joe sitting in the back seat of a customer's
would've got
car.
blammed
The
in that
couple
back
was
seat.
leaving with their takeout.
I ain't gonna
When
lie,
they got inside the
takeout.
car, Joe jumped on them, screaming.
I'm loving it.
I took the
I would've
customer's
shot
reproach
Joe
on behalf
so
of
fast.
Joe
It
and
would've been
returned their
over.
money by giving them free food. Once the customers left, I became furious. What the hell is wrong with you? You know what? Everyone warned me about what a freak you are, but I just kept giving you chances. You're fired, Joe. Just take your things and get lost.
It was your fault,
Joe
though.
didn't say a
You told him
single word.
yes.
His mouth hung open like he had just received the shock of his
Oh,
life,
whoa.
and his left eye twitched. Tears rolled down his cheek, but not once did he cry. Taking his red wig off, he said
Bold.
in a low, creepy voice,
You will regret this, Nathan.
My nigga just
I
wanted
went
to be
home
Ronald
in a bad
McDonald.
mood. I don't remember.
Yeah, he went about it wrong. Yeah, he was a little bit weird. Yeah, he tried to tickle little girl feet. Yeah, he got in people back seat. But at the end of the day, my nigga Joe just wanted to be Ronald McDonald.
When I passed out on the couch, but a sudden sound woke me up. I realized it was coming from my room. As I pushed open the
Now he in
door
your
of my
crib.
room, I saw the most horrible sight. Joe had gotten in from the bedroom window I left open, and he was scribbling all over the wall with red crayons.
How did Joe find out where you live is the real question. You just started less than a week ago.
Joe? What do you think you're doing? He turned his face to me, and his makeup was messily smudged, making him look more horrible than ever.
Does nobody own a gun? Joe would have got popped when he was in the back seat, to be honest. But now he inside of my crib, he gotta go. And he gonna have the makeup on him when the cops get there, so they know he not right up there. He just gots to go. I love you, Joe, but you're doing too much.
I'm loving it. I'm loving
He need
it.
a mint toothpaste.
He went on
Oh.
ruining my walls until the cops came and took him away. I later heard he was sent to a mental institution. Somewhere deep down, I think the nail ending up in one of our burgers had to have been Joe's work.
You think? Moral of the story: go to Burger King.